Alright, what's up y'all, LakerFan here. As you can see by the title of today's video, the top 3 center builds in NBA 2K22 Next Gen. In today's video, I have a crazy driving and standing contact dunk 6'10". We have a super ridiculous backside defender in terms of everything to do with defense. And then we have what seems to be the Pro-Am meta at the 5 spot with a 7'2" that has 75 vertical for the elite big man contact dunks. So again, all that stuff is going to be listed in today's video. I hope y'all enjoy, and if you do, for to drop a like, sub if you're new, turn on them noties, all the good stuff. Let's try this one to 500 likes as well. So as far as my ranking on all of these, I don't exactly have a very solid foundation on which one is the best or which one's the worst of the 3. I think they're all really reasonable for any different style that you have. I will say though, this 6'10" is probably the most fun. This looks crazy, bro. Like, you can get play take, sharp take, glass and rim on this. You have such crazy versatility in the terms of like how it plays, and again, you have driving and standing contact dunks. With the 7-footer, I think this is really comp. I think it fits a lot of different game modes, and it's definitely fun to play on as well. The 7'2" though, it's a little bit bulky, it's a little bit slow, it's not quite as fun to play on, but for Pro-Am meta, it definitely fits the big man spot the best. So if I had to give a list of number 1 to number 3 in terms of which one is the most comp, I guess I would say that the 7-footer is probably my favorite, then 7'2" is the next best, and then 6'10" is probably the worst of the 3, but definitely the most fun, and I would still consider it the 3rd best big man build in the game. If you want to make a case for the 6'9" glitched out metric build, you could make a case for that being one of the best bigs in the game, but obviously it's a little bit undersized, and I think this one plays more like a center as well. We have the 6'9" metric listed as one of the best lockdown builds, so if you want to check out that video, or the top 3 point guard build video, feel free to check either of those out. But anyway, we're going to go from left to right. Again, none of these are really defined which one is the best or the worst, but overall, I just kind of wanted to showcase all 3 of these builds. I think it fits all styles, honestly. We have a lot of these with shooting upgraded on them as well. I know a lot of these videos, when you guys click on them and you see the inside centers, you're a little bit disappointed or underwhelmed, I guess I would say. And obviously it's a little bit easier to make an inside center. You could literally just strip the shooting off entirely and then boom, put it more into like pass accuracy, or put more post control on, or close shot to 93, whatever the case may be. With this stuff right here, I think it's a little bit harder to make the shooting centers, so I wanted to construct them in that way and maybe make it a little bit more viable to your guys' standards. With this build right here, you can see I am sacrificing the pass accuracy down to 71. I think you can get away with this though. 71 gets you the gold break starter. You can still rock silver bullet passer. I think it's definitely doable in a half court setting, and for throwing the fast breaks, I understand it's probably not the best, but at the same time, if you're going out there in Pro-Am and running this at the 5, I don't know if that's the smartest thing. This is more so meant to be, if you bring it to the 5s, it's meant to be played at the 4 in terms of like a power forward build, but it also will still play the 2v2 big man plenty well, and then still play the 3v3 big man perfectly fine as well. So anyway, with this build, again, you have 84 driving dunk, which gives you the driving contact dunk packages. You have 91 standing dunk, which gives you the pro and elite contact dunk packages for the big men. And again, you can still shoot the ball with this build. We don't have Hall of Fame sniper on this. I don't think you can really afford to put your mid-range up to 80 with this build, and obviously the three-pointer can't get to 80 itself, so you are lacking a little bit in the shooting category with only 14 shooting badges as well. But again, you have to make a couple sacrifices here and there. This build will also get silver unpluckable with 70 ball handle rating. You're going to get a couple decent signature styles when it comes to the size of packages, size of escapes, stuff like that. Nothing amazing, but again, you are a center. It's definitely good enough though. And combined with still having 50 speed of ball, bronze quick first step, the acceleration is a little bit poor at only 60, but it's definitely still good enough to get yourself open in the rare situation that obviously I don't think you're coming out here and being a point forward with this, but it's definitely good enough to get yourself to the basket, set up some driving contact dunks, get yourself into the restricted area for the mashes and the paint and all types of stuff like that on your own. You don't exactly need a point guard to set you up on every single thing you do with this build. And again, you can still pop. What I think is amazing with this build is the takeover options. So like I said, you can get the sharp take, playmaker, rim, and glass with this. And I think to have sharp and play takeover is so cool. This would be such a fun build to play on. And I think the takeovers really make it glitchy. I mean, obviously the 2 things that it lacks in the most are going to be shooting and playmaking categories. You can see the badge counts are only 14 and 12, and obviously the best ratings in these are literally 76 three-pointer and 70 ball handle. So it's a little bit ridiculous. I don't even know how you can get playmaker takeover on this build, to be completely honest with you. I mean, the ratings are nowhere near good enough in terms of what I would think for a playmaker takeover. Like 71 pass accuracy and 70 ball handle and still having 50 speed with ball only is good enough for play take? That's crazy. Now, if you want to talk even more crazy stuff, if you combine this with juice takeover perk and you run sharp and play takeover, that's going to be insane on takeover, bro. You could come out here and actually do some ridiculous stuff with it. And if you wanted to upgrade your speed with ball and ball handle a little bit more because you want to utilize that playmaker takeover, and maybe you do need more ball handle to actually be able to utilize things on takeover, like let's say for instance, if you run juice takeover perk and play takeover takeover, and maybe it gets you to like 84 ball handle or something like that when you're on it. Obviously, if you were to be around like 86, you could probably perform more moves and stuff like that as well. And I just think in general, maybe it's more worth it to you guys if you want to make a fun build to actually upgrade the fun things about it. So it's definitely understandable. Now to talk about the comp situation of this build, it gets the exact amount of steel rating that you need for gold interceptor, definitely good enough perimeter defense as well. It also gets just enough interior defense for gold brick wall, and then we have it at just the right amount of rating for the gold rebound chaser as well. You get 97 block for the Hall of Fame rim protector. Honestly, it's a very comp build. It still can be utilized in a lot of good ways. I just don't think you want to make this to play the 5 when it comes to rec or pro-am or whatever the case may be. I will say though, my boy Dope actually uses this build at the 5 on pro-am, and it looks really fun, bro, to come out here with an undersized lineup, run 2 6'9s at the 3 and the 4, and then have a 6'10 at the 5. It looks fire. It looks so fun to play like that. But obviously, like I said, from a competitive standpoint, I don't know if you can get away with so much of having an undersized build at the 5 against the best players in the world when it comes to pro-am. But like I said, for ranked, maybe you guys would have some fun with this. But anyway, like I said, that's the build right there. One last time, I want to talk about how fire these takeovers are. I mean, it's so cool to have this combo of the 4 right here. All right, so next up we have the 7-footer. This is probably the most comp build that I'm going to showcase to you guys. I mean, this looks really, really good as far as even still having shooting on it as well. So again, we have 7 foot. It's going to be 215 for the weight, 710 wingspan. We have, unfortunately, just barely not enough driving dunk to get 84 for the pro contact dunk packages. I understand some people might really want that. If you did want something like that, I think that the 6'10" that we just showed is definitely a good enough build to showcase like what you would want to do with that. But anyway, again, we're still going to upgrade some of these builds with 3-pointer. I understand I'm not investing a whole lot into shooting, but I don't think you should with these center builds. You're not going to be constantly shooting the ball every single play, and with that, I think you should only be kind of a secondary option in terms of just popping when needed, or when your guard drives, you can stay out on the 3-point line. Simple as that for spacing, right? And you're only out there to knock it down when you need to. I think this is definitely a doable situation. Once again, we are sacrificing post control entirely off the build. This one does, however, have the 85 pass accuracy, so it's definitely doable in that sense. 65 ball handle gives you just enough for silver unpluckable and an extra playmaking badge right there. And then we have 52 speed with ball. You get bronze quick first step at 50 right here, and I just went up to 52 to get an extra playmaking badge. Once again, just enough interior defense to get the gold brick wall. We also have just enough rebound rating to get the gold rebound chaser. It's typically what I'm doing with this weight. I'm always going to try and get to the rebound chaser thresholds or the interior defense for the brick wall thresholds, all types of stuff like that. With this build, we also, like I said, are 7 foot with a 74 speed. That is insane. Like, it's super crazy. And obviously the build that I just showcased to you guys only had like 70, 74, 73 speed, something like that at 6'10". So overall, this one is a little bit more comp. It's definitely more defensive. It's more just big in general. The versatility is still there on defense as well. I love playing with this build myself. I have it, I just don't have shooting on it. And with that, I have like 93 close shot and 99 standing dunk on it as well. And it definitely performs insane contact dunks. I gotta say that. When I utilize this as well, I'm pretty satisfied with the ball handling on it. It's nothing crazy, but it definitely gets the job done. You can really work triple threat and still be extremely fast with this build. With this, we also have sharp takeover as an option. Once again, I really didn't put a lot into shooting to be able to get that. It's obviously just 3-pointer that it's tied to, but even at that, the fact that you don't have to have a lot of shooting badges or invest mid-range into your build and you can still get sharp takeover, that's really solid. And honestly, if you wanted to run something like stuff blocks like I have right here in the second slot, and you have Hall of Fame rim protector activated as a badge, you're going to be getting takeover pretty quickly. And with that, if you have spot up precision as your primary takeover, you're probably getting it a lot more quickly as well. So honestly, I think this is a pretty solid build right here. If you make it with the shooting, again, it's sharp, rim, and glass takeover. You don't get post, obviously, with the super low post control that we have. But if you wanted that, it's reasonable. But again, I mean, it's going to be hard to make a build like that and be able to get post control and mid-range on a build that we still have driving dunk on, standing dunk for the contact dunk packages, and even, obviously, you could take driving layup off, but I like having this on a build, and it's definitely nice to have some of the solid layup packages on. And to have 93 close shot is pretty necessary in terms of mashing. I mean, if you go down, you don't get the grace under pressure on Hall of Fame. Obviously, you lose mouse in the house as well. So, I mean, going to 92 gets you mouse, 93 gives you the grace. So, I feel like it's definitely worth, personally. And then, yeah, again, I mean, the physicals, like 74 speed and 85 vertical on a 7-footer, that's insane. The one thing I obviously took down was offensive rebound. If you're going to be making a popping build, I don't think you exactly need to have super crazy offensive rebound. It's probably a little bit overkill with it. Obviously, if you make an inside, though, I would highly recommend to go with that 91 offensive rebound. If you guys do want to see an inside version of the build, I've obviously made tons of build videos on the 7-footer that I have personally, where, again, it's the inside version. So if you want to check that out, feel free to. But anyway, Also, I do want to let you guys know one thing too. For all of these builds, they are glitched like metric builds. Like this 6'10" is the only default one right here, and you can actually make it as a metric to be a little bit taller and still be able to get all the badges that you would normally. Also, one thing I want to talk about with this too, you can get gold slither finisher on this. So whether that's, you know, worth it or not to you, I just thought it was something worth mentioning. But if you want to see the process of how to create this 7-footer metric right here, or the 7'2" metric, I've made build videos on both of them. If you want to check that out, feel free to. I just don't like to do them in these top 3 videos because they definitely would get a little bit long if I were to show the process on all 3 of those builds. But anyway, moving along, we have the Comp Pro-Am center build right here. 7'2", 235 on the weight, 8-foot wingspan. Again, this is a metric glitch right here where it gives you just enough for that 75 vertical. And really the only reason for making this is exactly that, 75 vertical to pair with 90 standing dunk for the elite contact dunk packages for the bigs. And you still get 74 driving dunk for the silver limitless takeoff. Combine that with quick drops off 1, you're definitely dunking as adequately as possible when it comes to the driving takes. 93 close shots still for, once again, like I said, the mouse and grace, and then boom. I mean, you don't have amazing post control, but 65 still gives you silver drop stepper, bronze back down punisher. You could go a little bit higher for the silver back down punisher if you wanted to, but usually I just try and go for the badge caps. Right here we get it at 64, and then you get the extra drop stepper on silver, so I figured you might as well just go for that anyway. 73 3-pointer, again, it's not amazing. 7'2" though, I don't think you really need to be out there on the 3-point line too often. We don't have ball handle or speed with ball upgraded on this build. It's not going to give you anything other than glue hands. Obviously, like I said, we can't get quick first step or unpluckable by any means, even by upgrading them. It's just too tall. So I don't know if there's really a point in going super invested into that. And it costs quite a bit too to be going for that. If you want your free throw a little bit higher, it's understandable. Maybe you could drop your stamina down a little bit. You can't really sacrifice vertical, like I said, but you know, it's up to you what you do want to sacrifice. You could drop the block rating to 97 and still get the Hall of Fame rim protector, but here's the thing about that too. You're going to see we get the extra badge point at 98, as you can see, and also going up to 98 makes rim protector only cost 5 badge points instead of 6 to run on Hall of Fame. So this is definitely a very valuable attribute point to be putting in the block. Like I said, you're pretty much getting yourself 2 extra badges just for that 1 rating you're putting into it. I dropped the steal rating down from like 67 down to 60. You could go higher if you want, but honestly, it just gives you the silver interceptor. I think that's good enough for bigs out there. 57 perimeter defense. I think you definitely should just max out perimeter D on any build. You don't want to be a complete liability when it comes to perimeter contesting or just in general playing perimeter defense if you get switched onto a guard for whatever reason, whether you're playing on 2s or 3s, whatever the case is for this build right here. And again, this is more so made to be the comp center for Pro-Am and stuff like that. I mean, this is what a lot of people be making. Like, whether it's with shooting or without shooting, most people are probably making it without shooting, to be honest with you, but it definitely still looks doable and good enough for Pro-Am by these standards right here. I mean, it's good enough at matching with 93 close shot. Still got the contact dunk packages with 90 standing dunk and then 75 vertical. Still has solid speed. It's not horrible. And then 73 strength as well is pretty interesting. 99 D-board as well for crashing off the corner. Really convenient. And you still get the Hall of Fame rebound chaser off that as well. So overall, this build, really comp, but it's probably a little bit boring to play on is all I'll say. I mean, you don't have the flair of ball handling with it. You don't have the driving contact dunks with it. And you're not really wanting to get switched on to on-ball like defense or anything like that either. So you're kind of just playing backside D constantly. You're probably just sitting in the corner on Pro-Am. Nothing too flashy with it, really. It's just meant to be big, good at rebounding, shot blocking, and still have a little bit of a jumper here and there when needed, and really good at finishing down low. So anyway, with the takeover options, with this one, you only get glass and rim. That is a little bit inconvenient, but I don't know what else you would really run, to be honest, with this build. I will say, if there's anything that I would vouch for not having shooting on, it'd probably be the 7'2" right here, where you could invest all the way into like 99 offensive rebound, and obviously that'd be a lot more convenient too. I mean, if you're talking comp Pro-Am and just really like playing with people that you know, and you know that like your guard doesn't look to drive a whole lot or anything like that, you could definitely just sacrifice 3-pointer off this entirely. I think for rec center though, it makes a lot of sense to be looking at a build like this. You probably don't need to be a complete dog on the offensive rebounds, and spacing is pretty important in the rec. And obviously with this, you can run silver corner specialist, you can run bronze catch and shoot, and then like silver Hazen Hunter, gold sniper, put a couple extra shooting badges on your build off college or the level 39 bonuses and stuff like that, then boom, you're looking pretty solid and definitely hittable at that point. Now, obviously, you would benefit off your guards, maybe running things like Dimer or whatever the case may be, or Playmaker Takeover with Team Badge Boost in this situation that you don't have a really elite 3-point rating. But again, It's all up to you. You can go ahead and just upgrade this if you would like, or don't upgrade it if you don't. It doesn't really matter, honestly. But anyway, that's all for the video. I hope you all enjoyed. If you did, drop a like, sub if you're new, turn on them noties, all that good stuff. And like I said in the intro, subscribe to 500 likes. If you made it to the end of the video, put center in the comments. Show support to me all the way through. And like I said, if you guys want to check out the top 3 point guard build videos or the top 3 lockdown builds, I dropped those in the last 2 days, so feel free to check those out as well. And again, feel free to leave any feedback. Let me know if you think that there are better center builds out there. If you think like the 7-3 is just that much better than the 7-2. I think with the 7-2 though, it's pretty viable. The fact that you get those big man contact dunks is pretty nice, and it's still a little bit more mobile too. It's nothing crazy in terms of its mobility in comparison to a 7'3", but it's still a little bit better. And again, you definitely could make a case for those big man contact dunk packages. But anyway, that's off video. Hope y'all enjoyed. And on that, take it easy, man. Peace.